Welcome to the Heart-Centered Hustle podcast. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Helwig, and I am your host. This podcast has been designed to shine light on how the top mortgage loan originators and influencers in real estate, leadership, and wellness from across the nation have built systems that led them to growth and freedom through meaningful change. In each episode, we will uncover how thought leaders in these industries paved their path to live a life without limitations. As a production, health, and lifestyle coach, I believe in the importance of implementing holistic approaches and developing habits in business and personal life that support and empower success and well-being. Through the theory of bio-individuality, we recognize that everyone has different wants, needs, and desires. By uncovering the things that support individual health and happiness, we have found that when implemented with intention, ultimately lead to success. As an advocate for creating flexibility and freedom in our lives, I am excited to welcome you into this space where we will discover how harnessing the power of a positive mindset and living in true alignment with our purpose will guide us to lead with our hearts and fulfill our greatest desires. Now, let's get started. Enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Heart-Centered Hustle podcast. I am here this morning with Mark McKenna from Pat McKenna Realtors, powered by EXP. As you can see behind him, his wonderful marketing. I reached out to Mark a couple weeks ago because I realized we had a mutual connection from Widener University. Mm-hmm. And of course, we're sort of in the same industry, mortgage, real estate, all that good stuff. And I know that he has just had so much success in the South Jersey market. And he is the second generation holding the flag for Pat McKenna Realtors. And I know that this is something that is very close to his heart that he feels very passionate about. So I'm excited to have him on the show today. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Jess. And looking forward to our time here today. And, hopefully we can have some great conversation and help some other agents out there.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So what is exciting right now in your life, Mark? I know you just told me about a vacation that you're taking with your family soon.
Yes.
But yeah, what's going on?
Montana, going hiking through the mountains.
Nice.
I think my wife's trying to kill me. I'm not sure. But
are you going to come back or not?
I don't know. So, so that's going on. I have my daughters getting married in a year. Actually, what's today? The 8th?
Yeah, 7th. The 7th.
It's 7th. It's a year from tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah,
oh. Your first daughter? How many daughters do you have?
I have 2 daughters and
okay.
a son. She's my oldest. So
we're
planning that. So I better sell a lot of houses.
Yes.
And college and weddings. It's all fun.
Oh, yeah.
So, and we are getting ready to move into our brand new facility that's been under construction. It's a mixed use 23 unit apartment building with the storefront where we're going to occupy 4,600 square foot for our headquarters, which is exciting.
Amazing.
And we should be in there probably by the end of August. So that's my mother's project. That's her building. So it's kind of her legacy piece.
Yes.
It's called Eleanor Manor, and that's Eleanor in Italian.
Aww.
So that's why we that's her piece.
Wow. Yes. So when you guys made the transition to EXP, was that always the intention that you guys wanted to have a building like that, a place for your team? And then is your mom planning to retire after?
She's not going to retire. She'll never retire. She'll always have her hands in the pot. She just loves the chase and the whole, part of the real estate game. She's 44 years in.
Wow.
So it's in her blood. She loves to close the deal, and she's got a loyal client base, and she doesn't, she looks like she's late 60s, early 70s. So, and she's got a lot of energy. So I don't think that'll happen anytime real soon. But I've been trying to get her to slow down, but I think it's almost impossible.
Oh, well, that is a blessing for sure. And I'm sure she loves working with you, the family business.
Yeah, it's all good. We get to spend every day together. So it's fun.
That's amazing. Yeah. So cool. So what was it like growing up watching your parents run, their real estate business?
Well, it was a little different back then because the craziness wasn't there. The technology wasn't there. But, they always hustled. My dad worked for a broker in town in the early 70s and decided to go on his own in 78. We had a little tiny office that he rented. And I think it was him, my mom, and one other person.
Mm.
And then this building came up for sale across the street. It was a disaster. And they bought it. And we had a bunch of tenants. We had a barber shop in there and a landscaping company. And as the office grew, we took over more of the building. Me and my brothers would come up every Sunday night and clean the office with our vacuums and empty the trash and wipe everything down. We did that for years, cut the grass. And, unfortunately, in 1984, my father passed away. My mother did not have a broker's license. So she had, it was a pretty male dominated business back then. And so everybody wanted to be her partner. She wanted no parts of a partner.
Wow.
So, I used to quiz her at night. So that year we had a phone put at her house. So when she would leave the office, it would ring at home and I would be answering the phone. I was like 14. Like,
oh my gosh.
Hey, McKenna Realtors. So, going back, like we used to hand flyers out on my friends. My dad would buy us pizzas. We didn't know what we were doing. We just had fun. We just wanted the free pizza, I think.
Oh,
So
yeah, right.
We were door knocking at 12 and 13,
Wow.
handing out flyers on weekends. And, and then when I got my license, we were putting up signs. And so, but, so my mom was studying and she passed the test and, she buried her head. She worked, just worked and worked. And I joined, that was 84. I joined at the end of the year in 90. So my first full year was 91. It was a terrible market coming out of, just still in a recession. And, so we were always ran with about 12 to 14 agents, so.
Okay.
That's kind of what we did.
Nice. So do you think when you joined the team, was it because you just had a huge passion for real estate, or do you think any of that had to do with kind of carrying the torch after your dad passed to help support your mom?
I think it was a combination. My mom always told me she knew I was going to get into the business because I would go to a friend's house and I would come home and describe, oh my God, you had to see the kitchen, you had to see this, this was nice. And it's weird. I never, ever thought about doing anything else but this.
Yeah.
So when I was in college and, I always tell people I went to college to play football and because I always knew it. I had my license when I was 19, I think. I got it. So I just never envisioned myself doing anything else. Okay, so, I always had jobs and worked and I was a pizza guy. I was a bouncer. I cut lawns, whatever. We always had multiple jobs. So, you need to have that work ethic.
Right.
If you're going to succeed in this business to, work 50, 60, 70 hours a week on a consistent basis.
Yeah, right. The schedule is kind of crazy. And you're kind of always like on call, So now that you've been in the business for so long, you're running this unbelievable team. I think you said you have over 50 agents now?
We hired 8 new people in the last 2 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
We're almost at 60.
Wow. That's awesome. So when you do the recruiting, are a lot of these people newer to the industry? Are some of them seasoned? Is it kind of like a mix of both?
It's a combination. We probably have 35% from other offices.
Okay.
A lot of new people. I mean, it varies. I think we do better with new agents because we offer a lot of training, and it's not, hey, go sit on the computer and train. Like tonight, we have a training for 2 hours. It'll be me and Shay who helps me in the training, and I'll have 30 people here.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's good.
That's awesome. And I'm sure, especially being a young person in this business, figuring it out, we're always like in front of a screen now anyway. I know being a realtor, you're kind of more out and about, but people
Sure.
get kind of weary being on camera, having to be in front of their computer,
Hmm.
So I think, being in person will be awesome. And especially when you have that new space. And you said that will be in Marlton, right?
Yeah, it's right where our old space was. We ripped the building down
Okay.
about 3 years ago. So we have been in this space. When we came over to this space, there was 17 people.
Wow.
So you can imagine, we have 7 salaried people in here now every day. So there's only,
Wow.
you know, 10 agents, and so our conference room's tight. Like we just can't wait to get over there.
Right.
That's the next big push for us to really, go to the next level.
Yeah, that'll be awesome, especially after coming off of your 1 year anniversary, which was,
Yes.
what was
Yeah.
it, July 1st?
July
Was
1st
your
was
1 year
1 year at
anniversary?
EXP.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was actually a lot better than I thought. The first 45 days were interesting because, we did systems our way for 30 years.
Right.
Um, and then we saw that, I think we're much more efficient now with the technology.
Great.
And the beauty of the platform is they just really let us sell. So we don't have to worry about any of the back office. We're here, we're building a team, we're selling properties. I still sell at a high level. And it's really just taken us to another stratosphere in volume and agents. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to grow almost by 350% in a year.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
incredible. Imagine what can happen in even 5 years, 10 years.
correct.
That's amazing.
And we never see the one thing that was really funny. We never, ever, ever recruited a person. Our business was just built organically.
Hmm.
Just, hey, it looks like you guys sell a lot of houses. We're like, yeah, we do. We work a lot. And I want to come work there. I'm like, all right. So once I went out there and I was a little bit more aggressive, and now we have the agents have seen what's going on, and they're bringing people in, and they know we want a high quality person. We don't like part time. We want people who are going to be committed. We have our core values that we live by. So I think all those things together is a recipe for success here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you guys look for? Are there any traits in particular than the ones you just kind of mentioned? Like, is there one thing, like when you're talking to new agents or, anyone that really sticks out to you?
Well, I've probably had about 75, 80 interviews with people just cold. This is my tip for the day. Okay, you're
Okay.
gonna laugh. When you have an interview, please don't show up in shorts. I
Okay.
can't even believe it. Like,
Noted.
note it. Please don't. I'm like, what? Do you know how? I was like, I told two agents. So I come in and I go, yeah, shorts are not acceptable. Like, so, what we look for. I look for a lot of energy. Okay. I tell people things up front, like, listen, you come into this business, I want to make sure you have 6 months reserves for your expenses in your account. Okay. Because people who have no money at all to pay their bills, real estate can be a difficult task for them. So you
Hmm.
really need to, and I don't like to see people that stressed
Yeah.
selling real estate. So
Hmm.
I tell them the good and the bad. We set their expectations on what I think they should do. I really love people. Like I have one girl in here. She was a friend of my daughter's, and I was like, "Hey, how's it going? How do you like your new job?" She goes, "It's okay. I cold call 200 plus people a day, and I do." So I'm like, "Wow, if you do that." She goes, "I'm doing well." So I said, "You ever want to come work with me? If you're doing 200 cold calls a day, I'll hire you." And she came like 2 weeks later.
Wow. And she's
Two weeks.
she's a realtor.
She's my ISA, and she's also sells,
Okay.
but she's amazing,
Oh,
amazing. Like she'll sell 25 houses this year and is
wow.
salaried here every day. I have a couple people like that. And the other thing that we do too is all of our salaried people are licensed as well.
Hmm.
There's no crossover with the real estate commission. And also, they're involved in the sales process as well, and they can go out and make an extra 40, 50, 60. I mean, I have some of my salary people are to make an extra 100.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That is incredible. That
Correct.
is what an amazing opportunity. So when you think about how you're coaching and training, some of the different people that are joining you, is there one thing that you teach them or coach them on that you wish you would have known when you started out?
Well, I think the one thing that they try and get the point across is, hey, when you show up on an appointment, when you're meeting someone cold, because we have a lot of cold leads that we generate, you got to show value in the first appointment. If you don't, you're like any other realtor. There's hundreds and hundreds of agents in every market. I should say thousands. Okay. So when you go on that first appointment, you got to be dressed right. You got to be on time. You have to have high energy, and you got to show value. Okay. So the first three things are kind of a given. So, but what I have seen in this industry, nothing surprises me. So you got to really show all the basics. But we're sticklers on appearance, looking professional, making sure. Now, if it's 105 degrees out, you don't have to wear a shirt and tie. But it's some people. I've never lost a listing because I was overdressed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my God, we can't list with him. I mean, he looked too nice. His clothes were too nice. Never. Okay. So, and you got to bring value. So we do some different things that we generate for them, buyer packets. I'll strategize with the agent on, hey, what are we doing? What do you got? A lot of times for my new agents, like I'll ride with them. I'm like, hey, you're driving. I'm coming with you on this appointment. I got a million text messages to send. That's why you're driving. And when we get to the appointment, I'll take the lead on the appointment.
That's awesome.
And they're like, they get it. I mean, we've probably generated, I don't know, 3.5, 4 million in sales volume just on that process. So,
and that's just something that you've built over time, just through your experience, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, it's tougher. Like, it's very natural, obviously, for doing this for so long. But I think the best way to learn in real estate is watching somebody. So we don't do a mentor program. I don't want to take anybody's money, but I also want them to see what goes on.
Right.
Take control of the room, ask questions. If a house is falling apart, you tell them it's falling apart. Like,
you're honest about it.
a direct. I tell them, I tell them, like, listen, I'm going to tell you things you might, and if you love the house, you might be a little offended, but I'm telling this to protect you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and they get it, and that's how you build loyalty. You're being upfront and straight with people. So
yeah. So would you say that might be your most important thing in building a relationship, is just being upfront and honest, or is there something else that comes to mind for you?
Accessible, upfront, honest, and going the extra mile. Like, I mean, I can't even tell you. I had clients, out of town. My basement overflowed. Where you at? Like, they don't know. They don't have friends and family. And so we become a really big resource for them.
Right.
I had a friend who was in Key West, and his maid came over and the house overflowed. There was $500,000 damage. I happened to be around the corner, and I went over, shut the water off. She couldn't find it, found it, and set him up with everything, got everything done. I mean, that guy's probably sent me 15 referrals over the years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's how you build that, You can't be like, man, you got to always, and I still have people call me all the time for the simplest things. And where do you buy a washer at? Some people call me for directions still. It drives me that crazy. And it's GPS world, but I answer, But, and when you prospect a lot, on your past client database, if you're an experienced agent, you're just prospecting on your client database. Yeah, you have great rapport. You build great relationships with people. Some people who are cold clients have turned out to be like, really tight friends of mine.
Oh.
Which is awesome. That's a great feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have a favorite mentor or coach that kind of taught you the ropes outside of, being in the field and learning different things?
So obviously, my mom was a huge factor, and I think
Yeah.
the one thing I learned from my parents is work ethic. Like you don't. There's no rest.
Mm,
Like you just keep grinding. So selling real estate isn't hard. It's just not easy.
mm,
Okay. So I've had a real estate coach for, 23 years. Same part. I've been a Mike Ferry agent
hmm
23 years. I've had a couple different coaches over the years. I've probably had four coaches. Um, I had Monica Reynolds in the beginning because I needed to educate myself on how to build a team the right way. And that's why I went there. And that's what we did. If you go back in the late 90s, people didn't have teams. There was a handful of people.
Wow.
It was me and one other agent. And they're like, what's
Mm,
this team thing, And then as it grew and now everybody, they sell five houses. They want to put a team together. So, but, that's what I did. And I still, it's an expensive process. It's $1,000 a month.
hmm
And figure I've been doing it for 23 years, 12 to 120, 240, almost paid $300,000 in coaching expenses.
Wow.
So, but it's paid off tenfold because,
Right.
as a top producing agent, it's tough for someone to hold you accountable. Your manager, your broker, whatever it is. But you need to be in check. You got to hit your goals. We're very goal oriented. We make sure we keep all our stats. We know our stats. That's the thing that differentiates us, I think, from everybody else.
hmm hmm I love that. And goal setting, I talk about that a lot on this podcast, just how important it is because you can stay stagnant for years and years and years and years. And especially in this business, if that happens, I mean, your success is just going to
Yeah,
be like a straight line. You're never going to, kind of advance and get to where you want to be if you do want to,
yeah.
do
And
more
we have a name
volume
for
or.
that. We call that the zero growth agent.
Mm,
That's what we call that. So, because if you keep doing the same things, you usually get the same results.
right.
So
Exactly.
you need to change things as markets change, as technology changes. All your business doesn't come from technology.
hmm
I think the key to success is pulling a little bit of business from a lot of different places. You know, you might get some really good internet leads. You might do some stuff on open houses. You got your prospecting, you're calling expireds. You're in, networking groups, all those different things.
Yep.
But, you got to look at the one and for newer agents, they're like, what do I do? Okay. Like they don't know what to do. So, when you have a lot of business coming in and you rely on your database and they see that you eat, sleep, and drink the product,
Yeah.
it's a little bit easier for you. And then
Right.
you can delegate, you can hand some business out and do different things. So
Oh.
that the challenge is, keeping the new agents busy.
hmm
So,
hmm
and
Yeah.
we're doing well with that.
That's awesome. So,
Hmm.
Mark, where do you, I know a little bit ago we talked about maybe the trajectory of your team, where you see it going, but when you think about the next 5 years, where would you love to see your team be?
That's a great question. So I am 54, and I would love to see when I'm 59, I'm out of production, and I have three listing agents, different price points. One up to 300, one from like 350, or one to 350, 350 to six, and six plus.
Nice.
So that's the makeup of not geographical. I think it's more price point specific. The buyer's agents, uh, you know, will have, we want to have 25 to 30. The goal is to have 60 agents all writing 20 plus deals a year.
Nice.
So that's what we're trying to accomplish when we do this, and I think we'll be there. Because blindfolded, I'll write 120, 140 transactions a year.
Wow.
I got some other agents in here are doing, 45 to 60. So it's just getting everybody else up to speed. And I think my agents will do better in a softer market because they've been struggling because they keep getting outbid on properties. So I've been telling them, like, listen, you'll do better when things get tighter because you got more inventory, you got more choices. You're going to get more offers accepted. Any agent who's joined in the real estate world since 2013 has no idea how it's been an abnormal rising market, in my opinion, for 9 years. So, working in a down market really separates, who's going to last. And this will be my third dip.
Wow.
It's coming. So I'm excited for it because, let's face it, you put a house up, even though I don't care how bad your pictures are, your marketing, right now you're still getting offers. Okay. The sellers don't realize the power, the strength of negotiation skills. So they might leave money on the table now, but you still sell the house.
Yeah.
But, and they give it to their friend who just got their license, doesn't know what they're doing, whatever. Things get tough and their house sits on the market for 6 months. Then they really do research. Like, who's the top person? Who moves the most inventory? So those calls really, really start to come in.
So how did you learn how to negotiate? Was it just trial and error? You learn each transaction. What got you excited about doing that?
I have to say, my mother is an amazing negotiator. So when we do deals on each end and we go out together, they're a challenge. I learned from her a lot. So, and you also understand a lot of the agents on the other side, they're so desperate to put a deal together. You can get a lot of information from them very quickly. So, and I coach a lot of agents through, even though they don't work for me. I can see right away if they're green or not. I'll ask questions. And plus as soon as the offer comes in, I'll pull their stats and be like, all right, I know what I got here. So I try and help them through the process.
Nice.
Again, I don't care if it's agents, buyers, sellers, kind of setting expectations for them on what's going to happen through the process. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really important. I mean, I say that word entirely too much, but
which word?
Setting expectations.
Oh,
I always say,
it's so important.
yes,
It really is.
and I've done it much more the last 6 to 8 years. I've really kind of instilled that, constantly do that, especially with staff, sellers, and it's important.
And people appreciate that. They really do. So you're in this position of leadership more so now than ever, and where you're really overseeing and coaching and leading younger agents. So what do you love most about that?
I love to see people flourish. I have an agent who started in November, and he'll probably write 30 plus transactions this year. Retired from first career, came in, knew nothing. So all the newer agents, we had a sales meeting a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, "You mind if we ask so and so a question?" I'm like, "Sure, go right ahead." Like, what are you doing on the phone? Right? And he's going, "Well, I say this, I say this." Right? And I'm like, "Okay, I'm listening." They're talking for a minute or two. And I said, "Stop. Just stop the whole conversation." I said, "His lead follow-up is relentless." Okay? Relentless. And that's why he's selling all these houses. His lead follow-up strong. He asks questions. He's prepared. He's not too pushy. And people like him. That's simple. If you do that stuff, you're going to get wins all the time. I tell them every day, get one win every day. Okay? Get an appointment, put an offer in, make a good just all you do is get one win a day. If you get 5 or 6 a week, and it's going to happen for you.
That's right. Oh, I love that advice.
Yeah.
And I think, especially in this business, in, the mortgage space and the real estate space, trying to bite off too much at one time can feel overwhelming. And then if you don't hit whatever goal that is, like if you set the expectations too high, that doesn't really feel good. But I think when you just think about, let me do one really good thing today, let me have one win today, that feels good when you're able to attain that. And when you're just starting out, of course you want to be super successful and have win after win after win right away, but that's not the reality.
Nothing.
That is not the reality.
Even on our calls with our, see, we're part of Zillow Flex, so we really monitor how many calls people answer. When we first started, we weren't. If some people like dive at the phone, even if they're not in the right state of mind to answer the call.
Mm-hmm.
We have enough people to maintain, to keep our live answer call up. But when you answer 25, 30 calls in a month, you can't service that. So, and then what happens is bad leads cover good leads. You don't even realize it. So we like them to answer 8 to 12 calls a month. We really track their numbers, their appointment set, appointment met, offer written, and close ratio. So we really look at those metrics. And that's why, my back office is really, really strong, because we look at all that stuff that's what my ISA does, and really kind of brainstorm and bring some of my more experienced guys in, talk about what we need to do. And Zillow's our partner. We're not paying Zillow every month. We're partners with them, and they want to see us grow. So that works out good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, have you ever heard the saying, a rising tide lifts all ships?
That's right. It's awesome.
I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're really involved in your community. You talk about this just like in your business, and it's when you are all working towards the same goal, maybe collectively, or, you're just trying to make each other better. Only good will come from that. And it feels really good to be surrounding yourself with partners, with friends that, have that same mindset, because you'll only get better from that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so important. I think, it makes you feel good, when you help people out. Like we do Yellow Ribbon all the time. Dave Silver, he's been packing meals for soldiers. I think last year we gave him $8,000 to go, and we actually volunteered. We went over, pack boxes, and do stuff. That's great stuff. We also, fields. We donated $35,000 to turf a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, and they redid it again. We gave them more, more money to that. The schools, the police, and all of it. St. Joan of Arc, the local Catholic Church, they feed so many people. I think we gave them 17,000 2 years ago.
Wow.
All that stuff. I mean, literally, if I had to add it up, we're well over $1 million, I would think.
That's incredible.
So, and but it's nice that we get that comes back. People appreciate that. You do the sponsors for the, the golf outings, all these different ones. Sometimes it could be like, oh my God, no. And the things that drive me crazy when people just send you an email for a donation. Yeah. Like, if you come in, hey, what's your call? It's great. I'll help you out in 2 seconds. But it's, that's a fun part. My favorite one was when the pandemic hit. My good friend, Rob Lascala, owns a bunch of pizza shops in Lascala Fire. And I said, hey, what if we did something cool for all the nurses and the doctors? They've been working their ass off. And he had this pizza truck. So he said, we'll just feed the whole hospital.
Oh my gosh.
And we were like, honestly, it was like week 2 of pandemic. And I got the okay from Virtua. And I think we did 400 pizzas that day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we had the pizza truck. We were picking pizzas up from the restaurant. We're just bringing 30 at a time. And, and that's a pretty big building in Voorhees. And they said, thank you on the top in big letters. It was great. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then we did it again in Virtua in Marlton. We did it twice. It was like, I think it was almost 800 pizzas between the 2 hospitals.
That
But
is so cool.
I got to
And
give
your daughter's a nurse, right?
yeah, I got to give her the props on that because
Aw.
she was coming home. She just got out of nursing school. She got thrown into the pandemic. She was living home, and she's like, "Dad, all these people are bringing food to us." Like, I said, "Well, you're in that hero status right now, you know."
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "I said, do they like it?" She goes, "Oh my God, we love it. They're bringing pizza and hoagies and meatball trays."
Hmm.
So I was like, So I said, let's do it. If they love it, let's do
Yeah.
something fun like that. And then from that, a lot of people started doing that locally, which is
Hmm.
great. It's fine with me. But it was just fun. It was a fun day. I felt like you were helping
Of
brighten some
course.
people's day when they were beat up.
Right,
Yeah.
right. That was such a hard time for everyone. And, you know, something small like that, even just a pizza, can put a smile
So
on
now
somebody's
I had to go
face.
in there to a doctor's appointment in that hospital. I said, "Hey, I was the guy who donated all the pizzas. I gotta get me to the front of the line quick." They were like, "Yeah." So
Oh my gosh, that's so
okay.
funny. So, I just want to pivot a little bit. I know you also have a podcast yourself, and you
Yes.
have been hosting that for a couple months.
hmm
So tell us about that.
So we started about 3 months ago. It's called At the Real Hustle. So we have something in common, which is cool.
Yeah.
So some of the younger people in my group like, "Hey, you need to do a podcast. You got a lot of information in your head." And I'm like, "Really? Who's going to want to listen to me talk?" So we came up with the name, got a cool logo, and we start just doing recordings. We do it at my house and in my basement at the bar, keep it real casual. We do them at like 4:30, right when happy hour would start. So I give my guests hey, you want to, relax, have a drink? Because some people get really nervous in this forum. I'm sure you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I,
Oh yeah.
I've been a ham. I'm good. I can talk to people all the time. So we do top agents. We do new agents. We do some specials just with, we talked about the zero growth agent. We did a show on why people continually do the same business all the time. How do you not get caught in that rabbit hole? Okay.
Mm,
And because if you do that, you hate the business.
right.
It's like what we do. It's not work. I mean, it is work, but it goes by so quick, and it's about growth.
Mm,
Then I'll have some entrepreneurs on who've built brands locally or turned into chains and some success. I love success stories.
yep.
People who I've done a bunch of specials, and I kind of called Women Who Win because it kind of was my life story of my mother growing up. Like,
Oh,
and they have
wow.
a lot of hey, they didn't have a choice. They had 2 or 3 kids, and they had to provide their other job. They were just making ends meet. Some people were close to bankruptcy, and they're top agents now. They're making 150, 200, 3, $400,000.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's great. They're feel good stories.
Hmm.
We recorded one the other day with an agent, and it was really good. And then I pick someone who I have a relationship. I know their story, and I'm gonna have to. Or I think we did our 11th episode, and we just hired a little bit of a new production company to do it. So,
Nice.
and the great thing
Oh my
is, I got
gosh.
to tell you, I'm sure you
What?
say it. Like I don't listen to podcasts. I'm an old guy.
Okay.
I do 12,000 text messages a month. I don't have time to listen to podcasts, right?
Okay.
The amount of people that come up to me who aren't even in real estate be like, "Hey, I love your podcast." I'm like, "Really?" Like, who?
Aw.
Like, and I'm like, "Yeah, I love that one with." And I'm like, they listen all the time, and I'm like, I got my next one dropped
That's
with my
awesome.
best friend from childhood, who's the head football coach at Cherokee, and who's come out. He's broke his neck in his early 20s, and just had a really tough bout of cancer. So talk
Oh,
about overcoming. I mean, it was a great one. So
wow.
they're the kind of things like how do you focus on that? How do you do different things like that? So we mix it up a little bit.
That is so
Yeah.
cool. I love that. And, very similar to my podcast. That's, what we love to talk about is, overcoming those really hard things. And no one's success story looks the same. And, I'm talking to you in real estate. And just last week, I talked to someone in, like holistic health and public speaking,
Hmm.
so we can kind of take it in many different directions. But I love that. And I think it's really cool when you hear people, just from your community saying, oh, I'm not even in real estate, but I heard your
Yeah.
podcast and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Like you're,
That caught me off guard. Now I'm like, I think I'm kind of cool now because I got. Now we
what do your
like
kids think
to.
about it?
I'm sorry.
What do your kids think about
They
it?
like it a lot. Their friends like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, Dad,
Yeah.
my friend. Like, I got what 19, 23, and 25. They listen
Aw.
to it, and they'll give me a thumbs up or thumbs down on an episode. So, but yeah, we
Aw.
try to keep it inspirational. We try to keep it in a way, because everybody thinks that, when you, like you had it easy. Like I hear all the time, like, oh, it's your parents'
Mm.
business. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what's that mean?
Hmm.
I got to work
Hmm.
even harder because the two of us are so competitive against
Aw.
each other. I'm like, you think it's easy? I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. So,
Hmm.
I mean, and my mother used to get upset with me because I used to do panels and all this stuff. She's like, you're gonna tell them all your secrets? I'm like, listen, if they want to work like I work, God bless them. There's plenty of business for everybody. There's
Mm.
no, there's
Oh.
no recipe like 3 ounces of sugar, some salt. I go, he's just, you got to work hard. You got to
Mm.
be a sponge, and you got to be on 24/7. That's what I don't like.
Mm.
Downtime, soccer game,
Mhm.
football game,
Yeah.
parent like talking to you, and I gotta be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
tough though.
Oh, well, what do you do to kind of recharge your battery?
I like to lay in my backyard in the pool. I
Aw.
get up every morning at 5:15. My buddy comes over. We work out. I lift a lot of weights, and I go do my routine. I've been trying to do a lot more stretching every day, trying to get my
Nice.
body a little limber. And I
Yep.
go sit in my sauna, all in the garage. I have a little gym in there.
Oh,
And
that's
sit in my
awesome.
infrared sauna. Best thing.
Oh, I love the infrared
Yeah, it's
sauna.
awesome. And just, sitting there 25 minutes. My agents know from like 7:05 to like 7:35, I'm in the sauna, so they usually call me.
Hmm.
And I'll be like, yeah, we're talking about deals. I'm like, if you want my
Yeah.
attention, best time to call me. So it's good.
Noted.
Hmm.
That's awesome. Oh, and that's so important. And I do love what you said about just having an abundant mentality when you think about helping other people. And there is so much business out there. And when you have an open mind and you're just willing to give, so many things come back to you in that way.
Yeah.
And, I talk to a lot of people, a lot of agents that don't always think that way. But I think that message will resonate with a lot of
Yeah,
people.
like even on our trainings, I invite other agents from other companies.
Hmm.
Hey, you want to do a training? You want to come in? They're like, really? I'm like, yeah. What's the what? Why? If I can help
Yeah.
you, educate you, that means all the deals will be better and smoother.
Yep.
You're not going to take me out or anything, but
Yeah. Right.
it's just, and they're like, sure. And they jump on.
Hmm.
So,
Right. Because they could be on the other side of your transaction one day,
right. Correct.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. Well, it was so wonderful
It
having
was
you
great. You did a
on
great
this
job. You did a
podcast.
great job.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Very
you. Thank
soothing in
you.
your process. Great. That was awesome.
Thank you. Thank
Hmm.
you. It's definitely an exciting thing to do. I know you enjoy hosting yours, and I think it's just a way to be
Yeah.
expressive and, just have some great conversations.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jess.
Yeah, of course. So before we wrap up, do you mind telling everyone where they could get in contact with you? I know you're on social media a little bit. If anyone has any real estate questions for
Yeah.
you,
So
would love
my
to
my
give
personal
them your contact
Facebook
info.
page is Mark McKenna. I don't have a real estate Facebook page that I deal with. At the Real Hustle is our Instagram handle, and I'm at the office entirely too much. You always can call me here at 856-983-0704. But if you just instant message me, it's the best way to get me. Just
All
squared
right.
away. All right.
Awesome. Awesome. I will include that in the show notes.
Awesome.
And then my final question for you, Mark, I always end with this, but who inspires you?
Who inspires me? It might sound a little hokey. So I should say hokey. I'm not the most religious person in the world. I do go to church. I'm Catholic. Monsignor Rich at our church is the most passionate person I've ever seen. Like I talk about when you do something, you have to have passion. Whenever I'm at that church and I see him speak and do his, when he talks at church, the whole place lights up. He's funny. He gets his point across. You know, when you're 12 and 13, you go to church, most everybody's so zoned out. Like people get excited for him to come in, and he's just that's my his level of passion to me is so much greater than from anybody I've seen.
Wow. Wow. So cool. And you get a dose of that every week, I guess,
Well,
right?
I should. That's what I said. I'm not perfect. I'm probably every third week, you know.
Okay. There you go. At least once a month.
Yes.
There you go. We'll take it.
Rich.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you, Mark. I really appreciate you joining me today.
All right. Thanks, Jess. Have a great week. Go get a win.
All right. One win today.
All right. See ya.
See ya. Thanks again for joining us for another episode of the Heart-Centered Hustle podcast. As always, I've been your host, Jessica Hellwig. Don't forget to visit us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Spotify, and check out my YouTube page. If you're a real estate agent or a loan officer and are looking for a change of pace or looking to grow your business, reach out to me at jhellwig@annie-mac.com. That is JHELWIG at Annie, ANNIE-MAC.com, or shoot me a text at 610-301-9706. And you can also find my contact info in the show notes below. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you next week.